Now we are going to study about sub-kingdom called as cryptogams. If you see, these are the example of cryptogams. In cryptogams, that is first division called as thallophyta. Now these thallophyta are those plants which are grown in moist area, basically over the water. So this plant grows mainly in water. Now the group of plant which does not have specific part, like they do not contain root, they do not contain stem, and they do not have leaf, but they are green in color. They are green in color because they contains a pigment called as chlorophyll, and because of chlorophyll they can synthesize their own organic food. That means they are called as autotrophic in nutrients. Now these plants are also called as algae. So if you see, especially over the lake or over the river, you can see that a green color layer which is formed over the water. Now this green color layer is called as algae, and if you observe algae in microscope, it will look something like this. Now this algae shows different diversity. That means either they can be unicellular or they can be multicellular. And they can be of different size and shapes. They can be either large or microscopic. They may be unicellular or multicellular or microscopic or large. Examples of algae is Spirogyra, Eulothrix alba, and Sargassum. These are the four important examples of thallophyta. Now we are going to study about some of them. Thallophyta can be grown in the salt water, or some of them they grow in the fresh water. So these are found in fresh water as well as both in salt water. And this plant body are very soft, slimy and fiber-like body. Now this plant, if you observe, various type of the fungi like yeast and mold, now they do not contain a pigment called as chlorophyll, but they are also included in thallophyta. Now the next we are going to study is division 2 of bryophyta. Now bryophyta, they are also called as amphibian plants. They are the amphibian plants of the kingdom Plantae, because this bryophyta, they grow on a moist soil and they required lot of water for its reproduction. The group of the plant is called as amphibians of the plant kingdom because they grow in moist soil but needs water for reproduction. And these plants are thalloid, they are multicellular, that means they are visible through naked eyes, and they are autotrophic in nutrients. That means they can produce its own organic food by the process of photosynthesis. If you observe this bryophyta in further detail, it will look something like this. If you observe this bryophyta, this is called as capsule. Capsule contains many spores. Now these spores germinate, and this is called as asexual reproduction, called as spore formation. So they reproduce by spore formation. And if you see the body of bryophyta, it is nothing but flat, ribbon-like, elongated, like long, without true leaf, true stem and true roots. That means they have stem-like, root-like and leaf-like structures. And because of this, they are non-vascular. That means they do not contain conducting tissue like xylem and phloem. Instead of that, they have stem-like, leaf-like or root-like structure called as rhizoids. So they will perform the function just like their characters, but they do not contain xylem and phloem. No specific conducting tissue for conduction of food and water inside the bryophyta. Let us study few examples of bryophyta. The first example is called as moss, called as funaria, as you can see here. Second example is rixia. Third example is marchantia, and the fourth example is Orthoceras.